reached episode number 285 of Tommy Maroon Sports Show. You know it, folks. And guess who I am? I'm Tommy Maroon. As the name says right there. We got a lot of fun stuff to unpack this week, including the Cleveland Guardians high school football. Same old stuff as always. Why not talk about that dude right there, Jose Ramirez? He's doing a phenomenal job. Heading into yesterday's game, he leads the good old Guardians with a .295 average, 21 home runs, 56 runs batted in, 30 swipes, 107 hits, and a .809 OPS. Carlos Santana, by the way, leads the Guardians in walks, however, but still, Jose Ramirez, he does a dandy. And speaking of doing a dandy, how about those Guardians lately on fire? Yes, sir. First, they played Oakland and beat Oakland 2-1. Of course, they are no longer Oakland. They're just simply the Athletics, which I think is unbelievably stupid, but that's what happens when you have lousy ownership. I mean, I know we like to complain about the owners, but at least Paul Dolan wins. His teams win, albeit on a shoestring budget, but at least his teams win. Nobody dreads going to a Guardians game, and that's been the case for a while. His teams win. Anyways, losing my train of thought. Jose Ramirez had a triple in game one. And how about Slade Ciccone in game one? My word, that guy went 8.1 innings. Almost the whole distance while giving up 6 runs too. Holy cow, that's insane. He did a phenomenal job. And then game two, Jose Ramirez had a 2-run jack. And Shea Langoliers for Oakland had 3 RBIs. So there was that. And then the third game against the A's, they're simply the Athletics once again, folks, because the ownership is horrible. David Fry had a bases-clearing double. And Gavin Williams went 7 innings, 11 strikeouts against the lowly Oakland Athletics. As you see Jose Ramirez rip one out of here to deep right field. That guy's really doing a phenomenal job, isn't he, folks? Yes, he is. But I'm pretty sure we all know that by now. And if you didn't, now you do. Guardians swept Baltimore. Oh, yeah, that feels sweet, doesn't it, folks? When we saw Jose Ramirez hit a 3-run bomb in game one, you saw him in a home run game two. And Cal Manzardo homered in game one, and Angel Martinez had 3 hits in game two. And looking at game 3 where the Guardians won it 3-2 courtesy of some late inning magic from Cleveland. In the bottom half of the 8th inning when Stephen Kwan hit the go-ahead single that scored Bone Aor. What else happened out there? Jose Ramirez went 1 for 4. But Cal Manzardo hit a 2-run, or scored 2 runs, I ought to say. He did not hit a 2-run bomb. Let me check what he did. He had a 2-run single that scored Stephen Kwan, Jose Ramirez. Always good to see that. Always good. So Ciccone in that game went 6 innings on 85 pitches. That's not many. But you know what's also not many? The amount of games back the Guardians are of first place. Oh boy, I can't believe it. They sit 8 back now, Detroit. They were once upon a time 15 back. Not to mention they're 2.5 out of that third wild card. Sitting at 51-50, second place in the American League Central. I'm just saying, things are looking upward for the Guardians. Could it be a comeback? Let's cross our fingers and pray to the good Lord it's going to be a comeback. High school football picks. We're doing independent schools, as you can tell right there. Some of the big names out in Northeast Ohio include the St. Ed's Eagles, who I think will go 8-2. And what else out there? St. Ignatius, they've been going through some lean times lately, folks. And I don't think it's going to change this year. They'll go 2-8. They got a really tough schedule, Ignatius. They got Avon at Avon, Mentor at Mentor. They're hosting Walsh. And Eds, Moore, St. Xavier. Think they'll beat Benedictine in an upset. I don't know why. I'm just thinking that. And then they'll beat Football North in Ontario, Canada, eh? And who else? Benedictine, of course, 7-3. They'll lose to NDC, Illinois Catholic as well. course, Lake Catholic does a great job, as we all know by now. Coach Gibbons' brother's the head coach there. And Archbishop Hoban will be 9-0 on the season. Yeah, they don't play 10 games. I found that hard to believe. Walsh Jesuit 8-2. Their only 2 losses coming to Tufts, Central Catholic, and Hoban. Of course, Walsh did beat Hoban last year. That was at Walsh. This time it'll be at Hoban. Something that's driving me crazy is the fact that Hoban's going on the road only once this year when they go to Maryland to play Archbishop Spalding. Otherwise, every other game is home. And their schedule seems pretty easy compared to everyone else. I mean, sure, they got Glenville, Ads, Walsh. But they got schools like Brush and Akron East. Teams they should easily beat. But we'll see if they can do it or whatnot. We'll see if they can do it. I think they will. Holman's supposed to be one of the toughest teams in the state this season. Will they win the state championship for the first time in half a decade? We'll see in a minute. And by a minute, I mean a few months. St. V. St. M. 3-7. Their wins coming to Harding, VASJ, and Elyria Catholic. Elyria Catholic, not really the best team out there, but we'll see what they have in stock this year. And then Massillon, Washington, of course, they're going to do their thing. In fact, if you go on Joe Idle's page, I found this all because Joe Idle updated his page. How about Joe Idle, folks? He does God's work, as I like to say. They're home every week this season except for when they play McKinley. That's right. They're hosting every school this year except for their big rivalry against the Bulldogs. I find that hard to believe. They'll go 9-1 this season. Their only loss coming to Cornerstone Christian in Texas. But still, that's insane. Good Lord. I can't believe that, folks. How do you do that? I don't know, but we'll see. Of course, Glenville's going to be tough as well. I didn't do them, but you got the gist, folks. VASJ. Let's look at VASJ. They'll be 4-5 on the season. They are off week 4. I think they will beat Cleveland JFK and Centennial and Cardinal Mooney and Mansfield Senior before those 2 schools, so there is that. The Louisville Leopards will be 5-5 on the season. Of course, some big games include Alliance at Mount, I believe is where they play. Of course, they got Green Week 8. That'll be a tough game. We'll see who comes out on top in that one. I'm picking Green in my opinion. The Brush Sharks, they're more of a basketball school. And they'll be 4-6 on the season. So there is that. They're not really that good at football, but of course, once again, basketball is more of their strong suit. Same with the University School. They'll be 5-5 on the season, in my opinion. And then the Gilmore Academy Lancers, 8-2. Their only losses coming to Benedictine and Lake Catholic. Otherwise, they should run the table. And while we're on the topic of teams that should run the table, Warren JFK, they're Division 7, but they do a phenomenal job, folks. 10-0, I think, out in Warren, which is way out east. And really northeast of here, I ought to say, because we're in Wadsworth. I'm so used to being at Hinckley where everything's just east. But anyways, 10-0, Warren JFK. Kent Central Catholic, 6-4. Cleveland Central Catholic, 4-6. And Bedford, 7-3. Now, Bedford, they got Twinsburg. I think they'll lose to the Tigers. They'll lose to Brush in an upset and lose to Maple Heights in an upset. But Bedford's schedule looks kind of easy. That's just me speaking. That's just me. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks and 1 day. 4 weeks and 1 day till it's time for some high school football. Can you believe that, folks? I cannot. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun featuring schools like my Highland Hornets. We got Erie McDowell week 1, as I keep on mentioning, but it is true. Of course, looking at everything out here, it's just been a blast. I just hope we can do something, folks, because we got to win the region. It's that simple. Casey Miser's last try, and I think he's going to win Mr. Football. But that's just me speaking. If he wins Mr. Football, you heard it from me first. But anyways, looking at everything Can't believe it's that time of year, folks, almost. Scrimmages will be up and running. And remember, folks, instead of 16 teams making the regional playoffs, it's going to be a mere 12 teams. 1, 2, 3, 4 get off. I've already mentioned that. But still, should be very entertaining. 7 divisions, 7 state champions. Who will win it is Drew Pasture finally updating now. We'll see in a minute. He is not updated yet, but he had Highland at number 10 in the state. And, of course, looking at OHSAA football rankings. Let me see, because I know Highland's up there. Looking at the Columbus Dispatch. Never mind, that's all Columbus schools. Forget everything I said. Well, I was high school football. Looking out there. The Power 25 rankings. Wow, we are number 9, but that was from last year, so just ignore that, folks. We'll see what happens. Football 2025. Let's look at Max Prep, shall we? Yes, we shall. Let me see. There's no data. Oh, wow. Oh, well, we might be a little too early, but still, high school football is almost here, and it's going to be a blast in my books. If we can do it, that would be awesome. That would be really awesome. Just trying to find more rankings, but oh well. It is what it is, I guess. Should be fun this year. Tommy's picks will be coming up in about 4 weeks from now. That's going to be also fun. Tommy Maroon here. Of course, WCTV is a lot of fun as well. We're closing in on 300 episodes. Good Lord, 300. That's a lot of episodes, folks. I've been doing it for over 6 years now. That is hard to believe. What's not hard to believe is that all the great shows keep on coming here on WCTV. Tommy Maroon, thanking you for watching. Goodbye, everybody.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.